Hey there YouTube, welcome to the ACH Automotive channel. Today we're back working on our 1997 Ford Mustang Super Coupe swap car. Today we're going to work on putting in our Felpro rear main seal. In the last video we got the heads on our Super Coupe motor, and you can see it's just kind of hanging out there in the K-member, the tubular K-member. It's not fastened to anything. We've got to work on getting that back together. One of the pieces in order to get this block to sit up correctly is to get our transmission in, and in order to do that, the first step is to get our rear main seal in the block. So we're using Felpro part number P96220. It's the rear main bearing seal. It also looks like a part number BS40644. All right, let's open this up here. In the box we have our rear main seal, and this is the side of the seal that will be on the outside of the block. This is the side that will go in towards the block. It has this little cup on it from the factory, and that is an installation tool according to the instructions. And what the instructions say, it says the seal contained in this set has a pre-installed plastic installation tool. The tool protects the seal at the time of installation and must be removed after the seal is installed. Felpro does not recommend the use of a repair sleeve with this seal. And it says install into the recessed cavity of the seal retainer or into the cylinder block. There's definitely some spelling errors in this. This PTFE seal must be installed dry. Do not lubricate or the seal lip or the crankshaft. And you can see it's spelled crankshaft. I'm not sure what a crankshaft is. I may put a little bit of lubricant on the, or just oil, on the outside, because that's what everybody online that I have looked at has suggested do, and even the factory service manual says you're supposed to do that. What we're going to do is we're going to sit this on the back of the crank, and then we're just going to take a, our punch, and where are we here? Somewhere I have my punch. Oh, it's over here. We're going to take our punch and we're just going to walk it back and forth until it's in evenly. And then, that's pretty much it. Ford and OTC do make a tool to install this. It's like a socket with 2 bolts. However, it's like a $175 tool, and from what I've watched a couple of other guys do this rear main seal, and even LMR's video on the rear main seal, which I'll try and put the link to that in the description if I can find it again. They're just using a punch. So that's what we're going to do. Worst case scenario today, we damage the seal and I have to buy another one. So let's give it a shot. Let's see what happens. I'm going to get underneath there. We're going to take a little bit of brake clean it out, make sure everything's good. And then we're going to go to town with putting in the new rear main seal. Now on this seal, I think there is, this one doesn't have it. Some of them have a spring on it. This guy does not. So, but this is the inside. You want this to go inside towards, so front of the car, seal's going to sit like this in the back. All right, so the first thing we're going to do here, I can get my brake clean can, just going to shoot a little bit up there just to clear any gunk off the crank, the end of the crank. Wipe down, and it should be pretty clean because this crank was just machined and put back in here recently. So now we've got that done, and you can see before we do anything here, we've got our rear main seal that's going to go just like that, and this plastic piece that's on here has a little bit of a groove to it, so it basically sits right over the end of our crankshaft here. And you're just going to walk this, seal on and into the hole. All right, against better instructions, I'm going to put a little bit of motor oil, if I can reach it, just around the outside here, because that's what I've always been taught to do. I'm not sure what the reasoning for not doing, that is, and it doesn't have to be much, just a little bit. Just to help it slide in. And actually, you know what, I'm probably going to put just a little bit in here too. It'll just help the gasket go over the crankshaft. So put our installation tool back in, and now we've got to crawl back under the car and see if we can get this guy to install. Rear main seals can be tricky. I mean, this is not my daily driver, so I'm not in a rush to get it back together. And if I ruin the seal, not that I want to, that's not the goal here. The goal is to do it right the first time, but they can be a pain to get in. Lots of guys have plenty of trouble getting them in, including myself. So don't be afraid if you may want to order an extra one when you order these. Back under our car here. Let's put our gasket in place. Let's find our punch and our mallet. Why is this being such a brat today? Alright, we're back. And some of it is I can't really get a good whack on it because of the position of the car and that I'm in. Jacked her up a little bit more. Let's see now if I can get a better swing on her. Like better position there we go. Alright, that's better. Finally getting her in. Just gotta work it back and forth. And you want it flush with the block. The main seal it's in. I don't know if I like it, but it's in. I think if I had to do it over again, I would probably invest in the $175 or $110 tool, whatever it was, from Ford to put this in. The tool that, wherever it went, the little plastic ring that came with it, was great to get it started, but it ended up hanging me up on this corner, and I don't think I did too bad. I mean, the gasket looks pretty good, and it's pretty darn flush. So hopefully it doesn't leak. Worst case, we put it all back together and it leaks, and we got to do this fun project again. But it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good from what I can see. Hopefully the camera picks up on it. It was kind of a pain in the butt to get that in.